Hello and welcome to the Cameo Show. I'm your host, Cameo. Today I'm joined by my husband and co-host, Mr. Greg Braun.
What's happening?
Greg always opens us up with a dad joke, and I assume you're prepared.
Yes, I've got
Let's
a
hear
great
it.
one.
Lay it on us.
What do you call a bundle of hay in a church?
I have no idea.
Christian Bale.
But Batman, everyone. I'm Batman. Today we're talking about DEXA scans. We recently went to Tampa, Florida, to a gym to do what's called a body mass composition test. And we decided to do this all on our own just to get a good idea of where we are with regard to our bone density and mostly how much percent body fat are we, where are we on this scale as it pertains to our health, as it pertains to where we should be for our age group. We're very active. We haven't been eating the way we know we should be. I've been injured and off for a couple of months. So, I mean, the timing of this couldn't have been probably any worse, but we decided that it was a tool that we should use to really understand our health situation, in addition to the blood work that we've been doing for the last couple of years, also on our own as a comprehensive blood draw test to see what all of our different levels are. A DEXA scan, I don't even know if I can say these words right. DEXA stands for dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. We're going to go with that. I don't know how to say that word, but that's what it stands for. And essentially it uses low dose X-rays to measure our bone density, our muscle mass, and our fat distribution. The night before we fasted all night long, and we woke up early in the morning, and we did drink coffee, which I'm not sure we were supposed to do, but we did anyway. And we drove an hour to Tampa, and we arrived at this gym where they walk us back, and you literally lay on this machine almost like you're getting an MRI if you've ever had one, but it's open. So that was good for you, right? Because Greg has a little bit of claustrophobia. Were you nervous about that?
Yeah,
You weren't sure what to expect.
but it's all good. Yeah.
And I've been pushing for this for a while, and he finally was like, yes, let's do it. So I scheduled it right away. We lay down on this machine that scans over your body, and it takes about 6 minutes for this to take an image. You kind of tuck into this space for this to take an image of not just your skeleton, but also the distribution of where your muscle tissue lies, where any excess fat lies, kind of what does it look like inside of this skin. And I can't say that either of us were surprised by the results. On the way there, we kind of made guesstimates about where we would each be, and we were almost spot on. I think we both overestimated a little bit to be on the safe side to preserve our egos. So, do you want to share your results, or shall I share mine?
Go ahead.
They print it out on this nice little sheet that shows your body outline. Later, it gives a lot of detail, and later in the report, it gives your skeleton and then again your body outline. And it talks about where all of your mass lies. So, I mean, this detailed sheet breaks it down between like your right arm and your left leg and your right leg, your torso, the side of your torso. But let's get to the nitty gritty here. It turns out that I, as a 41-and-a-half-year-old female, have 27% body fat as of this date, July 30th, 2024. Now, the normal range for women aged 40 to 50, the average range is 25 to 31%. So I fall like right in the middle of average. I'll take it. It's not horrible. I'm not happy with it though. So, obviously I have some tips and some things that we're doing after learning this information to try to decrease that, to go back and test and really see, what impact was made on the changes that we've made. Greg?
And mine is 26.3.
26.3% body fat. Now, women and men are different. Women tend to carry more fat on their body than men. A healthy range is a higher percentage for women than it is men. So, Greg, the average range for men aged 40 to 50 is 18 to 24%. So Greg falls just outside of that average range at 26%. He falls into the obese category or dangerously high body fat category. Now, we are very active. We talk about being active, combat sports, lots of walking. We do follow loosely a nutrition plan, but not like we should have been doing. And so this was like a major wake up call. This was the whole point in doing it, right?
Yeah.
I think we both guessed 30%. I don't think either of us were expecting bodybuilder style results here. But what that does then is allows us to say, okay, what are the changes that we need to make in order to get ourselves into a better than average and definitely better than obese or dangerously high level of body fat percentage? But half of the battle is knowing that you even fall there, because there's this misperception, right? That like we're super active. We eat really pretty clean. We don't eat out a lot. We don't indulge in drinking. We don't do a lot of the things that would indicate that maybe we would be in these categories. But wake
Yeah.
up call, right?
Yeah, that's what's good about this is um, you just live your life day after day, week after week, month after month, and it really does sneak up on you,
Right.
and you don't really realize the extra bowl of ice cream here, the extra handfuls of chips there, the extra chocolate chips. I mean, when you're active, which a lot of people are, I mean, a lot of people go to the gym, a lot of people work out and stuff, but you don't really think about how important it is of what it is that you eat
That's right.
24/7, and that you're getting plenty of rest and all that. So
Yeah,
it's just
sleep is a huge part in that also.
yeah,
And to your point, like I think we are very active, which also means we're very hungry.
yeah,
And then you think you're making the right choices and that these little snacks aren't going to hurt anything. And we're not talking about like living a bodybuilder life or nutrition plan where it is extremely rigid and strict. Live a little, right? Have the cheat meals, but just even since we did this, the awareness and cognizance that I have, the understanding of how many times I go to the pantry and grab things that I shouldn't be eating in quantities that are well above what I should be indulging in has been like a huge eye-opening experience for
yeah,
me. I think also for me, I have always understood that BMI, we hear a lot about body mass index, that like I feel like that's complete crap. And that's all you ever hear in a doctor's office. That's what you hear when you look online to see if you're in a healthy weight range. Well, body mass index measures your height versus your weight. I carry more muscle than, maybe I don't. I carry more muscle typically and historically than, most women who weigh what I weigh. And so therefore I fall into the obese category on the BMI chart. And I've always justified that by like, yeah, but a majority of that for me is muscle. Muscle weighs the same as fat. It's just more dense. It takes up less space. So therefore I look at that and think, well, that's just complete bullcrap. And in this case, it is kind of confirmed. I mean, I'm not in the obese category. I'm in the average category with the DEXA scan. But even on here, it says that I'm overweight. You look at teenagers who are growing, it's going to say they're overweight on the BMI chart, but on these body mass composition tests, you can't, it doesn't lie. Like you can't get around the numbers. I can't lie to myself about this percentage of body fat. Like I can justify where I fall on the BMI chart, right?
yeah,
So I highly recommend, if these are available in your area, that you look up a DEXA scan. It costs us $99 to go do it. We can go back anytime that we want. And to your point, now there's this high awareness around like, what are we putting into our bodies? How much sleep are we getting? Yes, we're active. It's just not enough. Like you cannot spot train fat. You cannot out train a bad diet, right?
mm,
So a few things that we've changed since we did this, because the plan is to go back in 90 days or 6 months to reevaluate, where are we with regard to like not really changing much about how active we are, assuming we stay healthy and uninjured, but really based on what we're eating. And so like Greg makes eggs every single morning since the bodybuilding days 12 years ago. We eat eggs, egg whites every single morning, and oatmeal. But what we found was that we were eating less eggs than we should have been eating and more oatmeal than we should have been eating based on like our experience back then when I had a nutrition plan and we pulled out some of those old plans and really started paying attention. The portions were way, way, way off. I wouldn't say lying to ourselves, but kind of just falling into that trap of like thinking we're doing the right thing and then not. It's a slippery slope. You put just a little extra heap of oatmeal in there because it tastes good. It's better than the egg whites, but you need more protein versus the actual oatmeal portion that we were eating. And then I typically would go almost all day without eating anything else just because I'm busy, I'm doing other things. Greg would be like, "You need to eat." He'd be out there eating in the kitchen, and I'd be in the office working. And he would a lot of times bring me food to make sure that I eat. But again, kind of back to like measuring out the portions. For every two more meals in the afternoon, we were eating one at half the amount of protein we should have been having. So, like, just more of an awareness. So, we've adjusted our diet. We're following some of the old bodybuilding plans, not to a T, not with such rigidity, and definitely with a couple of cheat meals in there, with the goal of going back to see what kind of adjustments were made and how that adjusted our body mass composition.
So all that's for vanity. All that's for, to look good and to feel good.
Yeah,
But there's also the element of health.
that's right. And a lot of times people who are women who are experiencing menopause, people who are getting older, it's not just for athletes and for vanity and measurement of performance. It's like literally to check osteoporosis, like bone density. It shows whether or not you have the right amount of bone density, densitometry, and it shows your score there with regard to how much bone loss you have as we get older, women in menopause, basically anyone who's interested in a detailed analysis of where they are so that you can feel better. Yes, look better, of course, feel better, and also live longer, knowing these things, measuring them. Unless you have something to measure to compare to, you don't really know. And this is a great, inexpensive way that's not mainstream at your doctor's appointment every year that I think, and a lot of experts agree, that you should implement into your annual visits or even more frequently so that you know specifically where you stand. Anyone can get a DEXA scan as long as you can find a DEXA machine or a scan facility. You can go pay for it. You don't submit it to insurance. You just do it on your own as a proactive approach to your own health. And so if you're interested in taking your health to the next level, again, seek out these facilities where they have a scanner like this. Take your health into your own hands and next level that so that you get a good baseline and know what adjustments you need to make. We'll go back and get another scan and we might find that it made no freaking difference and that would suck. But then we know, like, okay, time to pivot again. And without that, we wouldn't really know. You just kind of continue going through your day to day, your busy lives, trying to keep up with everything and getting food where you can and getting activity in where you can, and not really recognizing that, hey, maybe I need to give some attention to this area of my life. So we'll keep you updated the next time we go. We also had our blood work done, as I mentioned, last year and this year. We both are in great normal ranges with regard to that test. But like, I have high cholesterol. I haven't really done anything different. So I'm monitoring that as well. I will update on that. Greg has slightly high cholesterol as well.
And blood pressure.
And blood pressure on your side. So, knowing where we are has been a major thing. In our 40s, I think it's really important. If I had known or cared more when I was in my 20s and 30s, I definitely would have started doing these things then as well. So if you're not in your 40s yet or beyond, you should definitely start looking into these things at whatever age you're at and as an adult, so that you really, like I said earlier, and like Greg mentioned, like, can take control of where you are with your health. It's all we have, right? It's like,
Yeah, and it's definitely worth having some real information on and not guessing with, because it's everything. Your health is everything.
yeah, I was guessing. We were over measuring, under proteining, under sleeping, and lying to myself is the truth. Lying to myself, justifying things that I thought were right that weren't. So this don't
Get
lie.
your numbers.
Get your
Get your
DEXA
numbers.
scan. Until next time.